Transformation, shaping our future. Are we ready? This conference or summit is about transformation and shaping our future, as been said. But how do we see our future? And how can we transform our industry? In order to transform our industry and shape our future, we need to understand where we are and where we come from. Today, ATM is considered as an integral part of the aviation system. Airlines, airports, and air traffic management are responsible for air transport of passengers and cargo all over the world. In 2011, some 2.8 billion people traveled on 35,000 routes, connecting 3,800 commercial airports. Together they flew 5.1 trillion kilometers. CANSO members, ANSPs and associate members work extensively with airlines, airports, industry partners and governments on a regional and global level to meet demands of our stakeholders. Air traffic management is not only an integral part of the aviation system on a local and a regional level, but also on a global level, and it is therefore that I especially welcome IATA, ACI and ICAO. Looking to our customers, the airline industry. In Beijing, 2 weeks ago, Tony Tyler gave a state of the industry where he stated that over the last decade, airline revenues were $4.6 trillion. Aviation is among the world's fastest growing industries. But the annual profit margin of airlines of the century so far was 2.9%, and the overall result has been a net loss of $16 billion. The high price of oil is among the main reasons for this global profitability. Oil prices have softened slightly, but an average price of $110 per barrel is to be expected. The biggest, also on the personal side, and most immediate risk, however, is the crisis in the Eurozone. If this evolves into a banking crisis, we would face a continent-wide recession that will result in even lower airline profits. European air traffic management is IATA's main ATM concern. By 2020, the single European sky is meant to cut air navigation costs in half and increase capacity by 70%. The Performance Review Board stated, however, that most states with their ANSP, including LVNL, won't meet these targets. Airlines will face €190 million additional cost in 2014. Forecasts indicate that the Asia-Pacific region will grow rapidly over the next 20 years. Passenger numbers are expected to almost triple in Asia-Pacific, from 780 million in 2010 to over 2.2 billion in 2030. In the Middle East, capacity at the three carriers, Emirates, Qatar Airways and Etihad, collectively has grown 23% annually over the past 10 years. Their growth is likely to continue as a large backlog of new efficient airplanes will result in a traffic growth of approximately 7%. For the Latin American and Caribbean region, the forecasts indicate that there is a rapid growth over the next 20 years. Passenger numbers are expected to triple from 150 million to 440 million in 2030. It is IATA's wish to learn from Europe and use those lessons for other regions and implement solutions before growth leads to a gridlock in the skies. These global aviation dynamics give immense pressure on safety, capacity, cost effectiveness and sustainability. This pressure is ongoing and in an ever different and changing disguise. In every region there is a different priority and needs a global vision for a regional development. But where is CANSO? In Amsterdam, last March, it was stated that CANSO is on a crossroads. By some people, this statement was refuted and they believed that CANSO was on a roundabout and that people were getting dizzy. I think this metaphor is right. But then I see a roundabout as a series of crossroads and that a choice for just safety, capacity, cost effectiveness and sustainability is not a size that fits all. In order to understand where we are, we need to have a good view for where we come from. When CANSO started as a club of corporatized or privatized ASPs, the initial goal was to grow into a global recognized organization. Being the global voice on air traffic management is still our motto. Being the global voice meant that all our energy of the last decade went into making ourselves heard, making air traffic management policies, and attracting more members. Is this enough for the challenges that lie ahead in the immense changing environment? In our global voice, we talk about transforming the industry to cope with demand. Buzzwords like change, transformation, performance, and leadership are part of this voice. All kinds of initiatives have been taken in order to have an even louder voice than before. Our founding fathers created CANSO to give ATM a voice. Now CANSO has a voice. But times have changed. The need of the industry has changed, and CANSO needs to change. Our most important stakeholders like IATA, ACI, and ICAO now recognize this global voice, but seek a proactive role of taking responsibility and delivery. The ATM industry needs to come up with solutions to meet demand in the different regions of the world. The aviation community is looking to CANSO to show leadership in the ATM industry and lead the transformation in a coherent, collaborative way with the aviation community. This aviation community is not asking for a global voice, but is asking for a global partner. CANSO being the global voice for ATM is probably not enough. CANSO is currently at the end of the first curve of growth, and we need to define this next curve of growth. This next curve is where CANSO will become the global partner in air traffic management. It means that we have to lead CANSO from saying to doing. But what is leadership? Everybody used this word several times. In the Oxford Dictionary, leadership is defined as a process of social influence in which one person can enlist the aid and support of others in the accomplishment of a task. If our task is to transform the traffic management industry to meet demand, we need to lead our doing. CANSO members, air traffic management employees, chief executive officers, the DG, the executive committee need to show leadership. Air traffic management leadership is not blaming mistakes. It is not giving the responsibility to IATA, ACI, or ICAO. And it's definitely not keeping your customer outside. Air traffic management leadership is about air traffic management leaders who will find new ways that others will follow, who see opportunities where others see roadblocks, who have no excuses, who take ownership, who take small steps to achieve large distances, who collaborate in an overarching goals. The Executive Committee. The Executive Committee is dedicated to transform CANSO into a result-oriented trade association. This means that the Executive Committee, the Secretariat, the Standing Committees and the regions need to collaborate in a coherent and consistent way. New ways of working need to be implemented, and this will take time. However, if we are not able to change ourselves, how can we show the industry that we can deliver? As a proof of this new attitude, the Executive Committee put a lot of effort in the World ATM Congress in order to set the ATM agenda for the next coming years. The World ATM Congress must be a forward-looking conference for the industry and by the industry. In Madrid, we will gain a new perspective on what is needed to propel our ATM industry forward. To fill in the promises we made to our stakeholders, more focus and resources are needed. We, as the Executive Committee, have changed the structure of CANSO in order to get more regional and member engagement. The regions play a vital role in the execution and implementation of CANSO policies. The regions are all represented in the Executive Committee and are responsible and accountable for the results. The regions are supported by the Standing Committee Safety, Policy and Operations. Last year, I've seen in the Middle East, Mohammed Amin looking for new ways new ways of leadership to achieve more engagement by stakeholders in the region. The Middle East Airspace User Stakeholder Engagement Project and the MIDRAR project are examples where progress is made in this new fashion. In the Asian Pacific, Greg Russell and Owen Heng arranged collaboration on ASPs and worked with other industry partners and stakeholders on concrete projects, for instance, collaborative decision making for city pairs and ADSB. In South America, CANSO, ACI and IATA have taken the initiative for the definition of seamless air traffic management and collaborative decision making in the region. Africa will be partnering with ICAO on the African Regional Runway Safety Seminar in Cape Town in October. Further, Africa is working with industry partners on CDM to develop this very important region. In Europe, something new. 9 of CANSO Northern European members have just announced a formal commercial alliance named Borealis Alliance to drive performance and develop the business across borders and between functional airspace blocks. It's a unique example of how ASPs are seeking different forms of cooperation to optimize service provision to our customers. Also on a global level, the Executive Committee is developing leadership in order to improve collaboration between CANSO members and our stakeholders. Setting common safety, operational and technical standards with IATA, ACI and ICAO is of paramount importance to the development of the regions. New ways need to be invented in the regions to implement these standards. Again, one size fits all is not the way forward. It's therefore that CANSO supports the ICAO block upgrades that give room to think globally and act regionally. In the next coming years, CANSO needs to speed up and come with more regional initiatives in order to meet demands of the aviation industry. Our last CANSO initiative with Boeing is for me another good example. The report Accelerating Air Traffic Management Efficiency is focused on that speeding up. A call to industry defines 7 steps to accelerate change. These 7 steps get collective understanding how to achieve efficient air traffic management operations. Increase, and I can't say this more than enough, increase stakeholder collaboration. Accelerate operational trials to use aircraft capabilities, but also to learn. Accelerate real-time collaborative decision making by information sharing. Still a lot of information we have as air traffic management is not being shared. Reduce airspace restrictions to lead to inefficient operations. Accelerate the approval process for new procedures and operations. And last but not least, propose common best practices in air traffic management. My conclusion, the Executive Committee is inviting and welcoming every CANSO member, air traffic management employee and CEO that can make a difference by doing it, to lead change and to transform our industry. When we need people on all levels that inspire others to do more, to learn more and to become more. I wish you all a great summit and a great conference. Thank you very much.